G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good in your part of the world. Watch review of the Seiko Prospex SPB191J1, the Shogun. Seiko dive watches are things of legend, and for many good reasons. Here's one of them, and I think it's a little bit of an unsung hero. Just before we get into the key specs and details of the watch, just want to give a massive thanks to the good people over at First Class Watches for the loan of this one. They have it on sale at the moment at a very, very tempting price indeed. And please do mention the Time Bomb channel if you're interested in speaking to them about the watch. Let me just zoom in a fraction. Okay, so I think that these were released back in 2020, and they only come in two versions. Obviously, this white dialer, and then as you can see up on screen, it's sort of more expensive cousin, the black dialer there, which then comes with the all titanium bracelet. And I've never really understood why Seiko haven't sort of, pushed or tried to develop the range a little bit more. This, after all, is a real dive watch. I mean, if you contrast that with some of their recent recreations, which are bordering on fashion watches, take the 62 Mass, for example, please feel free to discuss. So key speckage on these, then they're 43.5 mils across, and you're going to have to add a little bit extra for the crown there. But north to south, it's around 50 mils. So again, it's got quite a positive wrist print. It's about 13.5 mils deep. There's a bit of an underhang here, and then you're sitting on 22 mil lugs. It comes, of course, with that dive watch standard of 200 meters worth of watery goodness. So let me just throw it on wrist without knocking the camera flying. Yeah, so here it is on wrist. My wrist is 7.25. I've been quite ill lately, so I think I've probably lost a little bit of weight. So maybe it's a 7.125. But it sits absolutely brilliantly. I think the north to south is perhaps just about my limits on this, but the curve, obviously, that you get off the strappage here, makes it work. And the weight of it, obviously, being titanium, I mean, just absolutely brilliant. I think the speckage might sort of put you off initially, but once you start to get to understand, once you've got it on wrist, you realize that it's very, very manageable indeed. Now, these retail at £1,150. However, First Class Watches have them on sale the day that I was recording this video at £619. So nearly a half price. So I don't feel in any way that you need to pay full RRP. It does, of course, come with some Seiko special misalignment. I mean, you look at the 12-hour marker, you then look at the chapter ring. Yeah, I mean, which is off the dial or the chapter ring, take your pick. But don't worry, that's free of charge, that misalignment. So think of it more as an added bonus rather than a damned expletive QC fail. As you can see, I'm on the dial there. I mean, yeah, you can see, for example, the 10 o'clock, the hour marker as well, just sits there, to the left. It's almost touching that 49 minute marker there. And then on the other side as well, it's actually sort of a little bit the other way around. But as I say, the worst one, if I can just get the reflection to stop, is that 12 o'clock one there. I mean, yeah, it's right of center. Buzzing away inside is the decent 6R35. It should provide you around 70 hour power reserve. It's a decent movement, but a lot of people talk about it being a little bit irregular as well, so do keep an eye on it. The bezel, again, is another aspect of the watch that I think is absolutely fantastic, and again, it's Thule inspired and Thule functional. By that I mean, if you're on a dive boat, your watch is going to get bashed and crashed. And the design of this bezel, I think, because of the way that it's sloped downwards like this, makes it far less prone to snagging on things, yet it is still grippy enough to operate. Now, the bezel, before I just move it around, as you can see, I really like this pale sort of muted grey here, but I think the lack of numerals and the sort of perhaps the weak contrast with the black here sometimes mean that in certain lights it's the two colors are indistinguishable from each other, and I'm wondering if that's not that particularly well thought out. However, as I say, I wanted to show you what it sounds like rather than picking my words here. So it's more of a purring, springy purr than it is a click. It's an interesting sound. It's unlike many other Seikos that I've had on the channel recently. It's almost quite unique, and it's probably down to the sound and how it's reverberating through the titanium as opposed to steel as well. So yeah, it's always interesting when you try and realign it up at the 12. Which one are you working off? I mean, there is a tiny bit of wiggle here, but I think as well that's just because there's just so much distance, isn't there? So little distance between the clicks. That's what's perhaps contributing to that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because we all know that it's misaligned. The hands obviously are straight off the old monsters, and I think for good reason, because you know they're very, very clear indeed. I mentioned the fit on wrist with the strap as well. The silicone of this strap I think is absolutely excellent. Yes, it's thick, but I really like that, and it's very, very comfortable on wrist. It really is. And obviously you've got those slight stretchy aspects there as well, which may contribute to that comfort. And then one of my other, little party piece think on this one is the buckle. It's absolutely brilliant. So oversized, it's delicious. It's the perfect dive watch buckle. I mean, look at the curve on that. I mean, brilliant. I mean, super easy to get your hands on that and make it work when you're wearing gloves, for example, or when it's wet. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of finger marks on this. The other thing I wanted to notice on this watch are its very, very sexy shoulders. I think as well, if you've got some really interesting little angle changes here. I mean, this is one of my favorites, where you go from top to lug with brushed shoulder, and then the case flank side here. Let me just see if I can focus in even further so that you can see that detailing. As I say, I just think that's really, really nice, and it's not easy to do when you're working with titanium either. I think they've done a really good job of that. And that clear crystal white, Arctic white dial as well, I just think is brilliant. Very, 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 very well done. They can do things really well, can't they? The case body itself is, I mean, it's almost samurai-esque, isn't it? There's an aspect to that about it. The Lumibright, as you would expect, is irrepressible. It's like an over-eager pooch looking for attention. It's trying to shine at any given light source, and yeah, it's going to keep you Lume junkies very, very happy. But yeah, you kind of know that with the brand. That's why you want it. The crown, again, I think, yeah, it's fantastic. Sits situated perfectly between those. Let me just get this out of the way, because it sits perfectly within those guards. No misalignment aspects there, and as well, the grippage on this is really, really positive. Yeah. Nice. Then your action on that as well, yeah, positive. It's exactly as it needs to be. Aspects of the watch, yeah, absolutely fantastic. So, should you buy one of these in the sale, or should you pick up the new Shogun? Well, if you pick the Shogun over this one, then I think you and I are wired slightly differently. But those are just my thoughts, and those are just my opinions. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and reflections on this one. Really look forward to your comments down below. Massive thanks again to the guys at First Class Watches and to you guys for your continued support of the channel. Cheers, guys.